Welcome to another edition of Taking Social Services to the People. Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to introduce you to two victims of domestic violence. But there's something different from these two young ladies. They took the initiative to come back to say thank you. Listen, their stories are traumatizing, but it's amazing that when we are in a season of Thanksgiving, I noticed from November until January, don't you think something else happens? It is like this peaceful spirit dominates, undermines the pain that people are going through. It doesn't feel like a spirit of fear or discomfort. Well, we have our friend here in the Ministry of Social Services who is responsible for the domestic violence unit, and we've been here before. We're going to go and meet these ladies just in a minute. But, you know, she had this idea. I thought it was such a great idea. Her and the Assistant Commissioner, Janet McKenzie, they are always looking to see how they can improve their service in uplifting women and men that come here who are victims of domestic violence. But you called me, this is ASP Kendra Wims. You called me and said, listen, let's do something with these young ladies who said thanks to the Ministry of Social Services, thanks to the Domestic Violence Unit, and this is the power of collaboration. It's not competition, it's completion. And we get stronger, we do better, we are more efficient, and we're able to be more excellent. I'm going to tell you something. We have our other leaders here for the Domestic Violence Department, Wendy Clark. She's a champion as well. And doesn't it feel good?
It feels good, yeah.
To say that somebody coming back?
Say thank you, it does, yes, it does.
Why does it mean so much?
It gives us the boost to continue to work and know that people appreciate what we're doing.
Good morning. It does feel good, and it shows that we have persons out there who appreciate the system and the process it takes to put to move on with their lives, and also bring awareness to other persons who may feel as if there isn't a chance of them. So, you know, it encourages us, and it also encourages someone out there who may be thinking about leaving their situation or just looking for a change.
This is your brain's child. What were you thinking?
Well, initially, Debbie, I thought this initiative would be an excellent one, not only for the collaboration with the Department of Social Services and the Royal Bahamas Police Force Domestic Violence Unit, but also as it relates to our victims of domestic violence that comes to this office on a daily basis for assistance. And the collaboration has been so awesome between Social Services and the Royal Bahamas Police Force Domestic Violence Unit, and now to have victims wanting to come back and share their experience, their stories, to show where they are at in terms of how they were assisted in a very professional way, and how we showed us a sense of care and empathy towards our victims. So this is really a great experience. This makes me feel wonderful, and it's just all about giving back, especially for Thanksgiving.
Well, let's go and meet them. What stands out about these two young women and what we can look for? Because as we go in, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you're going to meet. I met them just a little while ago, and I'm telling you that they both have very compelling stories. But what stood out to you?
What stood out to me the most is we have one lady who received a protection order, and she was in a relationship for over a decade. And now she finds that when she heard about the unit and the one-stop approach, she was able to come to us. We were able to greet her in a safe space, and she was able to share her story. Now that she's well on her way in receiving the protection order from the magistrate family court system, so this is one unique aspect of it. Then we have another lady who needed housing, emergency housing, and right away the Department of Social Services assisted her that same day. So we just want to share with the community of what we are doing and how we are assisting members of the public, especially those who are suffering in silence as it relates to domestic violence.
Talking about suffering in silence, just as we go, what is your experience with the victims suffering and silence and having the strength to move forward and say, I need help?
It's very important because a lot of times women or men who stay in these relationships, it's because they don't have the resources. And so when you see a victim make up in their mind that I want to leave regardless of my situation, it speaks a lot to their personality, their resilience, and their desire to want to change, their desire to want to leave the situation that they're in. And so I'm happy, I'm glad that persons are seeing that the resources are out there, and it takes courage to leave. And the first step is to leave. That's the first step to make up in your mind.
These two women have left. Let's meet these courageous women who are resilient. Stay tuned. Taking Social Services to the People will return in a moment.
The Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting is partnering with the Bahamas Christian Council to help build stronger Bahamian families.
I believe that our ultimate experience in living begins with God and family.
Our purpose is to facilitate, guide, inspire, and equip you to have a better life.
And a strong family foundation begins with each of us trying to become better individuals.
Let's unite for a stronger Bahamas.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, leading Bahamians from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
You can now stay in tune with all things social services on any one of our social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, missed any of our Taking Social Services to the People programs? No worries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Bahamas Heartbeat, to watch all of our programs and special content. Social Services is the heartbeat of the nation, taking our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
I'm getting used to coming in here now. Let's meet one of our heroes who's been very good, I believe, and instrumental in getting one of our guests who's going to be called Raquel. This
is one of our officers who's attached to the domestic violence unit here at the building. This is Officer Hutchison, Patrol Hutchison, and she plays a very important role here. Both of the victims know her very well. She assisted them right away, as she usually do. She conducted follow-ups with the victims, and then they came. When they came in, they felt so comfortable. They felt a sense of empathy from her, and they were able to share with her exactly what's going on in their life. So she was the one who actually assisted them, ensuring that they completed the applications for protection order, bound over, as well as receiving assistance from social services.
You know, there's something, the way your supervisor is explaining it, it tells, may I sit down?
Yes, ma'am.
I can make myself right at home. Listen, your camera ready? You didn't know you were coming on the camera this morning.
No, I didn't.
No,
So it's good to be here today.
Yeah, so that's what we do with Taking Social Services to the People. We're very organic. But I could not help but listen to what ASP Kendra is saying in terms of the people respond to you very well. That means that you have empathy. That
Definitely.
means that you are identifying with their pain.
Yeah.
What is it like when you speak to so many victims and hear their pain?
Well, thank you for having me today. It feels great. It's a passion of mine, and I look forward to it every time I do it. And just to have confidentiality. That's number one. That plays a big part of it. And I just love seeing the fresh faces and just giving them hope and just to know that I'm able to be a part of their life when they do leave these doors, and that they are able to push forward, move forward, and be better from when they left.
What is their greatest fear? Because we hear a lot of times about victims who take a step forward and then change their minds.
And you're asking their biggest fears
in getting help and leaving the environment of abuse.
Just the unknown. The unknown. You never know until you do know. So it's just about, what we do here mostly is follow-ups. Follow up, just to make sure, everything is in place and it stays in place.
So follow-up is working?
It's working big time. Yeah, big time.
Fantastic.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I tell you what, I want us to go now and meet Stephanie. And hers is just very recent. She's just going through the process. It's a painful process, but somehow we're talking today about the power of thanks. I think it is also a healing balm. Let's go and meet her.
Have you heard about the Promise Unit? The Department of Social Services provides food assistance, housing assistance, uniform assistance, burial assistance, and financial assistance. Promise makes it easy. You can log on via cell phone, your computer, or your tablet. Sign up today at promise.gov.bs. Once you've registered and created a profile, you can call the Promise Customer Contact Center and speak with someone about any inquiries at 1-242-4-PROMISE. That's 242-477-6647.
All kind of cars in the park. You ain't even know where to park.
We ain't gonna be that long.
What's going on, dog? Go get one of these three. Bye, big bro. Need to move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
You can now stay in tune with all things social services on any one of our social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, missed any of our Taking Social Services to the People programs? No worries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Bahamas Heartbeat, to watch all of our programs and special content. Social Services is the heartbeat of the nation, taking our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
Welcome back. Great leaders lead from three tenets: the past, the present, and the future. We are in the room for children at the Domestic Violence Unit. You can tell that we are creating an environment here for our children. Whatever we do today has a consequence, and it impacts tomorrow. In the segment after this, we are going to meet Raquel. Raquel has her three children. The youngest one is about 2 years old. She was talking just before she prepared to come on set in a few minutes. She was talking about how she watched her mother being tortured, being beaten. And she's thinking about her children witnessing her abuse, the violence that she experienced. Our next guest doesn't have the physical abuse, but the emotional abuse. And these two young women came to the department here for the Domestic Violence Unit to say thank you to the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, and the department here for the Domestic Violence Unit. Why is that important? Even Jesus say, oh my God, Thank you. I healed 10 lepers and only one came back. And this is one of the victims who came back to say thank you after being tremendously traumatized. What does power mean? Power is when what you do is turned into action. These women are acting on the belief that they have to shift their environment. I want to welcome Stephanie. You know, I'm so sorry you're against it. She's a very beautiful young lady and very articulate and has a middle manager's position. And so domestic violence does not have a class. It doesn't have a color. And I listened to her riveting story. I just want to welcome you, Stephanie, and thank you so much for agreeing to come on. Tell your story. What was traumatizing for you? How did you connect with a young man who quite honestly seemed to be narcissistic?
Well, we met at a club, a nightclub. He was not my first choice, not the person that I would have normally go after. But after his consistency and showing a side to him that you wouldn't see now, I eventually gave him a chance. And from the beginning, there were always red flags. He was never faithful, but he always cushioned everything with a gift. So it was always flowers or jewelry or or something of that sort to make me feel like it was okay after the fact. So after years of putting up with it, eventually...
How many years?
At the breaking point was 5 years in. And
so you put up with hell for 5 years? Why?
5 years. No clue. I can't say it's a fear of letting go. It's a fear of...
Did he bring anything to the table? I mean, what did he bring to the table?
Nothing besides personality.
So you going with a man who taking you nowhere?
Nowhere.
Oh my God.
A common thing that we do as women, because a lot of women do it. And we just accept bare minimum. And we're okay with bare minimum, knowing that we deserve better. And so we just go along with what's normal just to say we have a partner. That's it. That's all it is, to say you have someone that you can talk to and they can barely hold a conversation because, like they say, you're not equally yoked. And that's where we go wrong. So you try to see the good in people when you have all the signs that there is no good in that person.
A husband is supposed to be a provider.
Right.
Could he provide for you? He wasn't your husband, but at least you're looking for someone who has a future in mind and has a plan to support your life.
Barely. And I always did I'll do it to make him look good so we don't look bad as a team. And that's where we go wrong. That's where I went wrong. I won't say that's where I went wrong. And I should have gotten out from the jump I saw that it was going nowhere, but I didn't. I tried to stick it out to see if I could at least change him to be what he needed to be or what he should be. But ignoring the red flags and all of the signs is what got me
red flags. When did the abuse start, and describe the abuse that you experienced?
I can't say exactly when it started, but definitely it was always, if I would change my hair or if I would buy a new outfit, it would be, oh, you looking for man, or what you need to get fixed up for, or why you need to go out. When he would do the same. He would always be well-groomed. He'd always be well-dressed. He would always be
You used to buy the clothes, eh?
No, ma'am.
Well, where'd you get the clothes from if he wasn't working?
Well, he does little odds and ends, so he always did what he needed so that he could always have. And if he has, he wouldn't let me know that he has. He'll act as though he don't have. So I would always be that crutch because he always knew at the end of the day, I would always come and rescue. I would always be the one to come and save the day, as opposed to being the one to actually sit down and be the one to get saved. So I fell just into that it was normalcy for me after being with him for so long. But my breaking point was realizing at the engagement party that nobody that I was connected to was at this party. Everything was of him. And afterwards, he would never make any steps towards wedding planning. any sort of wedding planning was a way for him to run away. He would avoid the conversation. Whatever he had to do to avoid it, he would do that. I was content with just a JP wedding. No girl wants a JP wedding. Every young girl dreams of the white dress and getting pretty. But I was willing to accept the JP wedding just because of. And I asked God for signs. Hey, if this isn't supposed to work out, give me the signs that I need, but also make me prepared to get out of it. And after noticing that he wasn't getting out of it, I was like, okay, we're not getting anywhere, so I need to make my exit. And it just so happened that he got arrested.
For what?
Stealing. Stealing by, I think it was reason of service. And after he got arrested, he kept begging me to go into his cell phone, and I refused. I was like, this is Pandora's box. I am not opening this phone. And after maybe about 3 weeks of him trying to convince me, I finally did it. And I was like, okay, I just keep my eye blinded, go for exactly what I went for, and leave. Did that, turned the phone off. That didn't pan out the way he did. So he asked me to go back into the phone. So I was like, okay, if I'm going back into this phone, I am going to look for everything that I need to give me the proof that I need to get out of this. And so said, so done. It was the messages, the pictures of him and countless women, videos of him and different women doing things that he tell me that he don't find it interesting. So I was like, okay, so now I need to be prepared to leave. And this was about 2.5 years ago. And we did the whole back and forth. I'm ready for you to leave. And he's saying, I'm not leaving. I'll make you love me again. Nobody else could love you like how I love you. Nobody else could treat you the way I treat you. No one is going to care for you the way that I care for you. And that was his tactic all the time. And then when I would get upset and I would react, then he would play victim. Oh, nobody in his life loved him, and he always been the person that always had to fend for himself, and just guilt trip. And I just couldn't find myself to swallow it anymore, to go through with it any longer, because it started to get heavy. It was a burden. And every day, that burden just got heavier and heavier and heavier. With my burden getting heavier and heavier, he started to get more aggressive because he started to realize that slowly I was actually leaving. Mentally, I'd already checked out. And eventually, I got to the point where I confided into a friend and I let her know that, hey, I need somewhere just to clear my head. And she was like, I'm available. I may not always be at home, but my space is available for you. So I started to do that the earlier part of this year. And of course, him being him and him having narcissistic behavior, it's another man. When in actuality, it was not. It was just me trying to find myself again, to find who I really am once again. And I started to get more aggressive with telling him that he needed to leave. He started to get more aggressive because at this point now, it's just cordial contact.
Because he's living in your house.
Right. So he doesn't have somewhere to go where I expect him to live, if I expect him to be homeless. And at this point, I'm like, I have no children. We have no children. So I shouldn't have to take care of someone, especially another grown adult.
He threatened to kill you at one point.
Yes, ma'am. He's been on my job and threatened to kill me. He has said it in voice notes. He's threatened to rape me. I've woken up and met him staring at me while I'm sleeping and telling me this how easy it is for me to be raped and killed. He could make my mother hate me. He could shoot me and nobody would know. He could cut the brake lines in my car and I just could get in an accident and I could just die in his accidental death. So it was constant threats. Constant threats. He didn't care.
How did that affect you emotionally?
Well, emotionally, it was a lot to deal with because now I'm afraid. I started not sleeping because I didn't feel safe enough to sleep. Even though I was in my own home, I didn't feel safe enough to sleep because I never knew when that time would be. So if he was not at home, that would be the time I would take to sleep. It even affected my appetite, so I started not eating, going days without eating, just surviving off of coffee alone. Just a cup of coffee in the morning and going about my day. And I realized that it wasn't healthy, it wasn't getting me where I needed to be. But the breaking straw was when he threatened to kill me on my job. And it being in a public place, and he didn't have a care or a fear in the world. That made me realize that I needed to wake up and I needed to get out of the situation as quickly as I could so that I don't become the next dead victim. Not just a victim, but a dead victim. And that was enough for me to make the first step to go towards the police station, who then directed me to the domestic violence unit. And the officers here, I must say, have been really, really helpful. They've been very thorough. They follow up. They call just to check to make sure that you're okay. They call to make sure that you're safe. So that within itself, having someone that actually genuinely cares and wants to see the best for you and your well-being is a safe space. It's a healthy, safe space. So it was a breath of fresh air. And so Officer Hutchinson, she followed through from I came in, and she was very reassuring. She let me know that I was beautiful, that I deserved better, and I could do better, and that it was never too late to start over, because it's just never too late. And the next morning, she said that she would call the next morning for me to go to court. And sure enough, at about 8:15, she called. Hi, Stephanie, just calling to see how you're doing, if you got started, if you're making your way. And I was like, yes, ma'am, I am. She's like, not a problem. When I think that you're done, I'm going to give you a call. I didn't think much of it. And sure enough, that evening, she surely did call to find out if I went through with it, how I felt, if I was okay, if I still had somewhere safe to stay, and if I needed assistance with anything. She also told me that counseling is provided. So she was very thorough. Even up to 2 days ago, she called just to check in. So I really, really appreciated her a whole lot, because I don't think I could have done it on my own without that push to say, help me drive what I wanted to do.
Well, you've certainly given life and hope and a boost to Ms. Hutchinson and also to the entire department here. And what does it give you a feeling of something special when you can light up the day?
Freedom.
Yeah, it's freedom.
It's freedom. It feels light. It feels like I could do anything at this point, because that was my biggest obstacle. So having someone to hold my hand and actually show me the way to go, but not really show me, but actually walk me through it, so that if I do buck up or I do have any kind of hiccup, that I have someone I can call on who is reliable and who actually cares to actually help me get through it. So it feels free, it feels light, I feel happier, so it's a good feeling.
You know, there was a mentor in my life, the founder of Dudley's. His name is the late Dr. Joe Dudley, and he always used to say, gratefulness leads to plenty. And your expression of gratitude is such a heartwarming experience, because it shifts an environment to give people hope, and hope is confident, favorable expectation, or favorable, confident expectation. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. I wish the Bahamas and the world can see you, because you are absolutely beautiful, not only from the outside, but from the inside. And always choose people who have vision, a look for the future, who are working towards that. And thank you for your resilience. And I'm sure that your testimony today has helped somebody else.
Thank you.
Taking social services to the people. We'll be right back.
Strong family bonds provide a crucial support system, often filling the gaps that might otherwise lead to reliance on social assistance.
If we get the family structure support system right, you won't see adult children willingly putting their parents in senior citizens' homes. You won't see anyone putting children up for adoption. We should be the safety net for when the family begins to have some challenges.
Addressing the root causes of dependency is essential, as our goal is to shift the focus from merely providing aid to fostering self-reliance.
We must be prepared to move persons from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. And I'm asking the public to join us on this journey.
This has been the Heartbeat Brief, an inside look at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting.
Billy Graham once said that a good father is one of the most unsung, unpraised, unnoticed, and yet one of the most valuable assets in our society. As we seek to uplift and strengthen family ties, we want to take the time out to praise the fathers who are taking care of their families. Whether you are married or a single father, we want to salute you for taking up the charge to lead, provide, and protect your family. For those who are struggling with fatherhood, all is not lost. It is not too late to be the needed father to your children. We urge you to step up for your children and be the father they need and deserve. If you need help, contact the Department of Social Services National Parenting Program that can assist in placing you on the right path to being a good father.
Yes, this is our special program, The Power of Thanks. Thanks is an expression of joy, Godward. We're going to introduce you to Raquel. And really, as I listened to her story, like we did with Stephanie in the last segment, well, they have a lot to be grateful for because, you know, destiny has preserved them. And this young lady wants to say thanks to social services. But I think you would appreciate it more if you know why she is saying thanks and know her story. She's 24 years old with 3 children. How old are your children?
8 and 7 and 6 months.
8, 7, and 6 months. Okay, you can put a pause on those children for now till you get a husband?
Yes, Mom.
So tell us your story. Is this the 3 children for the same man?
Yes, Mom.
What went wrong?
I don't know. The abuse, everything. Like, everything get whacked. Like, when he drink, he's abused me. And he's tried to abuse the kids. I just try to get in the midst of my kids. You don't abuse my kids in the front of me. And it just get bad to worse. I try to make it work. I try to stay. I try to do everything to make it do. It did not. It did not.
When you say abuse you, what does that mean?
Like you put a knife in my throat and I can't get to no neighbors. Like every time I try to get to the neighbor, you abuse me. You hit me in my head. When I was pregnant, I have all kind of pictures with you hit me in my head. And I run to the police. The police, they ain't do nothing. Like everything get bad to worse. Like I finally make up my mind saying I'm not get mistreated like that anymore. Because I watched my mom get mistreated like that. And I said I'm letting my kids see that, keep saying that happening. Because my kids go to school, they telling a teacher from preschool, my little 5-year-old was saying, Mommy, I watched Daddy hit you. Why you not speaking up? Why you not saying nothing? Why you just letting Daddy hit you? And she going to school and she tell her teacher, and her teacher bring me in, and she said, what is this I hear it with your daughters telling us the fathers be abusing you and you won't say nothing else? Why you don't go to social service and say, I finally speak up. I finally gone out and speak to someone and I get help, and like I order it now, and I thank social service for it, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know where it's going to be, because sticking there, it wasn't helping. It wasn't helping.
How did social services help you?
They helped me with assistance for like grocery and stuff, and I finally find a place. And someone was telling me, say, I should have gone to social service for the assistance for like hosting, because I wasn't know if they do hosting until someone told me about it. And I was only getting like a food assistant from them.
But you were happy with the service?
Yes, ma'am.
It wasn't long.
No.
No. But You know, social services does help with housing and shelters, but do you, when you have a job to be able to support rent, then you can have housing, but if you don't work, then there's a shelter. So where are you living now? In a shelter?
That's
Or-
fine.
Okay, so that's good. And you didn't have any red tape, did you? You know, it's amazing what you said. I want you to reflect for a moment. What was it like when you were an eyewitness to your mother being abused? And what is it like now to see your children experiencing the same thing that you did? What do you think about that?
I feel like that's a curse. That's how I feel. Like I go through the same thing with my mom went through. And I made up my mind to say, no, I'm not putting my kids through that anymore. And I made up my mind to just take them out of it and try to reflect and make sure I take care of my kids by myself. For me to stick there and I watch plenty young girls on news die because they stuck. And no, I made up my mind. I said I'm not letting my kids to be without a mom. I care about the father. I worry about me. Because I can't afford my kids to be out here struggling like how I did with my mom after my mommy passed away. It can't.
Yeah, but your mother sick? Why did she die?
She died. Someone gave her AIDS, and she passed away with that.
And you said something. You said it feels like a curse, because there is something called a curse, an altar. The child travels from generation to generation, and you really need a spiritual leader to break that curse so it doesn't happen to your children. And I know that you want to do that, but it's also protecting them from the environment, from the boyfriend, like what you had. Give me an experience that was vile, that was very horrible, that what he did in terms of abusing you physically.
Like, okay, if I say a girl outside to tell a neighbor what's going on, he'll grab me by my throat and fling me back inside. And then he start beating me. I couldn't let my kids finish seeing me getting like that. Because numerous times my daughter jump out the window and run across the road. Cars coming. She run across the road.
How old is your daughter?
5. She run across the road and she bang on the neighbor door and say, come help my mommy, come help my mommy. My daddy beating my mommy. And for my daughter to saw that, it really hurt me. Like, my daughter have to run across this road for help from me. That ain't fair. That's not fair. And then if I speak out, I used to speak out to the police. Like, now I don't know if he have a family member in the police force, he get out, he came back, he do the same thing. Like, nothing changed. Nothing changed.
Well, you came to the police now and they've changed, but just before we talk about your experience with the police, as we were talking off camera, you talked about him spitting on you.
Yes, that's when I dropping my kids off to school. I was coming from the school, and he was trying to show off to his boys there and trying to oppress the boys there. And he saw me, and he had a bear in his hand. And he come running across the road, and I said, what you coming running across this road for? What I said that for, he hawk. And he said, in my face, and I say, I look at the spit, and I say, you serious? You serious? And I was looking for somewhere to rest my baby for me and him to fight it out. And I couldn't rest my baby on the side of the road. And I say, you serious? And I wiped the spit off my face, and his boys them started laughing and say, but you won't slap her, you won't slap her. And he said, man, I ain't into slapping her. I spit on her. You say I spit in her face? That's all she couldn't take. I ain't gonna slap her and she dropped the baby or whatever. I say, now you thinking about the baby? Now you thinking about the baby after you then spit in my face. And then he go across the road and he give the boys them tap and they start smoking and start talking and they giggling and laughing while I finish walking with my babies them to go home on the bus stop.
Now, you had a bad experience with the police, but you've come into the domestic violence unit and it's a completely different experience. Speak to that for a moment.
I never been in here before. Every time they try to call me to try to speak out, I was holding back because I was like, I scared because I don't want to be on camera. I say I don't want to be on camera and stuff. It's really totally different and there's pleasant in here. It's totally different. And I like everyone's spirit in here is totally different. I feel a different atmosphere in here. I feel a totally different atmosphere.
How are you going to change your life for your children and for you to have a better quality of life?
I really give God my life and everything. I put in God first. With everything I do, I put in God first. God coming first.
You take your children to church? Do you go to church?
Yes, ma'am.
And what would you say to other young women who are in your position? Do you have friends who experience similar levels of abuse or abusive experiences?
I don't know because they don't talk to me.
Oh, okay. All right. So what would you say to the people of the Bahamas and around the world listening to you, people who didn't have the courage like you to, even though you didn't get the results the first time you went to police and you went to social services, you got results, you came to the domestic violence unit and you're getting results. What would you say to a young woman who is being abused but afraid to leave?
Try to get help. Try to talk to someone and try to get help or try to run. Or try to talk to someone. Because it's not easy, I ain't gonna lie, it's not easy. It's not
easy. It's not easy.
Not to leave that quick. It's not easy. Because for me, I had to build up that courage to leave. Because I ain't had it.
Well, congratulations, you have it, and I pray that you continue to stick with it. And we thank you for having the courage to share your story today. And it's good to give thanks. So thank you very much. And I am so, you can't see her now, but she's emotional now. She's crying because of that emotional stress. As you can see, she's just weeping. And I know that there are some of you at home who's weeping as well. And you do need that support system, that spiritual support system. You need love around you, and then you will see the transformation. Nothing is ever as easy as it looks. It won't be easy. But we are in this season of Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year. And we have to work to keep that love that usually it feels like it's tangible in this season. Let it be tangible throughout our lives. When we come back, we'll have some final thoughts.
Have you heard about the Promise Unit? The Department of Social Services provides food assistance, housing assistance, uniform assistance, burial assistance, and financial assistance. Promise makes it easy. You can log on via cell phone, your computer, or your tablet. Sign up today at promise.gov.bs. Once you've registered and created a profile, you can call the Promise Customer Contact Center and speak with someone about any inquiries at 1-242-4-PROMISE. That's 242-477-6647.
Children are a heritage from the Lord. That's right, you, the one listening to this video. You are a special gift to your parents. Gifts are meant to be a source of happiness and joy. And we pray that you be that gift to your parents or guardians. We hear time and time again that this generation is lost. In the Department of Gender and Family Affairs, in the Ministry of Social Services, Information, and Broadcasting, we don't believe that. We believe that every generation of youth and children faces their own challenges, and you are facing your own set of challenges, but we want you to know that we see you. We see those of you who are going to school and doing your best. We see those of you who are striving for greatness in your various endeavors. We see those of you who, in spite of the mistakes you've made, are working to be better versions of yourselves. We see you and we are pulling for you. So don't give up when things don't go your way. It's just life teaching you a lesson. Don't give in when the crowd pressures you. Standing on your own only makes you stronger. Do listen to your parents. They have been where you are and know just a little more than you do. Last but not least, do treat others as you would want to be treated.
You can now stay in tune with all things social services on any one of our social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, missed any of our Taking Social Services to the People programs? No worries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Bahamas Heartbeat, to watch all of our programs and special content. Social Services is the heartbeat of the nation, taking our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
I have a deeper appreciation of what thankfulness means just after doing this program. I always would say gratefulness leads to plenty. That's what Mr. Joe Dudley would say. And I noticed that in the Success Manual for Life, that 3 million plus people died in the wilderness, in the middle class, because they were ungrateful. So ungratefulness undermines your purpose. You don't get to your destiny with an ungrateful mindset. At the same time, gratefulness attracts opportunity. What was my lesson in this program today? It feels to me, and I'll ask our guests, we brought everybody together in this final segment, it feels like gratefulness brings healing. Unfortunately, we only have a few minutes left because I could talk to all of them for a little longer, and I think you would be fully engaged. But we thought it would be really nice to bring everybody together and allow our beautiful young ladies who has the courage and the resilience, as ASP Kendra has said, to step forward and to leave the toxic environments and be determined to pursue a better life. So the first thing we're going to do is ask Stephanie in the first instance to just say thanks to the Domestic Violence Unit. We have ASP, the leader here of this unit, and of course, in her absence, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Janet McKenzie. She wanted to be here, but you know, they're always making demands on the time of the police. So just say thanks to, you said it earlier in the program, but what does their assistance mean to you?
To me, the assistance was much needed. It was breathtaking because I didn't anticipate the support coming from this unit, especially not knowing that the unit existed. But now that I do know about the unit, I'm more vocal with telling people about the unit and trying to encourage people that I know in similar situations to reach out and to get the help that's needed. And your officers under you, they are really thorough. They follow through and they come from a genuine place. They don't do it because it's their job. It seems more like a passion for them. So I really appreciate the help and the continuous calls and follow-up. It really meant a lot. It really, really meant a lot.
Powerful. And then we have Raquel. She's young, you know. She's a what you call it, a force to be reckoned with. Both of them are just so very good and she talked about her appreciation for social services. So, Raquel, I want you to speak to these. This is the leader of the social services domestic violence unit, and this is a social worker. So you may not see their faces, but they lead. But share your experience with social services and say thanks in the way you feel comfortable to them.
At first, when I went to social service, a few from your apartment let me down at first. They were like, oh, we don't assist young girls and this and that. And I was like, I come to y'all for help though. And then I keep going. And then they saw how I was. They started to say, okay, let me help you. And I started, after they heard my story and they started to come out and they started to help. Because I was then getting that, like, I didn't want to go back. I just started to say, okay, forget about it and leave social service alone, because I was then getting angry and irritated from going there. And then I keep saying, no, I can't put it down. I gotta keep going. And after I keep going, I really thank you all for really helping me out a lot.
And thank you so much. And this is what we can all learn from what I'm learning from what Raquel is saying, What we do impacts somebody else's life. And thank God for your persistence. Because the person with the bad attitude is not a reflection of the majority of the people at social services. And it speaks to our own self-esteem and love our neighbors as ourselves. And as Black people and Bahamians, we need to do better.
Yes.
We really do. Let's don't do that, man. That's somebody's life. I'm not talking just about social services now. I'm talking about wherever you go in some of these business places, you mad because you got a job, or you mad, I don't know what it is, but it's not good. You travel around the world and we think we number one, we being lapped. That means we're so far behind in customer service, we have to pick it up. No. When Bahamians arrive, first class has arrived. But I'm going to ask both our leader for the family unit and social worker respond to Raquel.
Well, I just want to say I'm glad that you were persistent, and I'm glad that you got that positive turnaround from the first encounter. A lot of times you don't know the reason. Sometimes it could be a hectic day, but there's actually no excuse for that behavior. Again, like you said, it's not a reflection of everybody in the organization. But we sincerely appreciate your resilience to come back and get that assistance. That is what is important, that you came back and you got the help that you needed.
Ms. Wendy Clark.
I'm happy that you didn't give up. Thank you for pushing. Your children need you, and we're here to help you.
What's the next step? Do you need counseling?
The next step, well, we work, and she and I spoke, and there are some things we have to work out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So you have your plan.
Yes.
And final words.
Hearing your gratitude, it means so much to me. Not only to me, but my office is attached here to domestic violence unit. And what we try to do is every case, we try to give our best service the first time. And this is something that we thrive on. And not only that, confidentiality as well, which is extremely important. And it touched my heart because this is not a job for me. This is actually service. That's how I see it. Service to our community, service to our victims, to ensure that persons know that there is help, that there is a safe space that they can report their matters as it relates to any violence. So just hearing your words, it made me feel more encouraged to go on and to continue helping persons, other women, other men and children as it relates to domestic violence. And I am, on behalf of my Assistant Commissioner, Janet McKenzie, and my Commissioner, Ms. Shanta Knowles, I do thank you. and appreciate your kind words.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to give you a reassurance as the consultant at Social Services and the Communication Unit. I assure you that the leadership team in the Minister, the Honorable Miles LaRota, and Permanent Secretary Fedra Rami, their push and their vision is to help make this nation strong through one family at a time. And we can only do that through love and giving our best to you. And to you means to those people who, as we work together, you know, we're a team, that we abandon competition, you know. That's part of what our problem was, eh? You work with the Ministry of National Security and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and you work with social services. No, we have one vision. This is the greatest country in the world. We have everything it takes. But there's something about being grateful. It covers our country with peace and produces prosperity, and it is a healing balm. You can't see it right now, but Raquel is still crying. Where would she have been if love did not embrace her? Thank you so much for watching. Just remember, we love you. There is enough of us in this country to make a difference. Social Services is the heartbeat, and we are working together to move us from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. You have the DNA of greatness. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, where we move our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.